Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Now, Sky Sports Boxing put up a clip of Anthony Joshua breaking down Dillian Whyte's loss to Povetkin and also talking about how he believes he can come back. Now, this was a clip that I believe was put out before the first time it was supposed to happen. So, the first time it was supposed to happen was in November. So I believe that this was an interview from then. They have just taken that clip and uploaded it now because obviously it's Dillian Whyte fight week where he will rematch Povetkin. But I do believe it is important what Anthony Joshua is explaining, and Dillian Whyte can definitely take something from that because AJ's been in this position. I mean, Dillian Whyte has been in this position before, not taking an immediate rematch though, because he did lose to AJ himself, but then there was a comeback trail. There was no rematch with Anthony Joshua. This time around he gets the immediate rematch because it's a different set of circumstances. So AJ was talking about the fact that you have to dust yourself down and get straight back in there. And he admires Dillian Whyte for taking the chance and the risk to get straight back in there at the scene of the crime to try and right that wrong. It's going to be a tough fight, but the thing is about this as well is it carries a lot of mental strain for Dillian Whyte. I do believe that he's capable of overcoming that, so that shouldn't be a big problem. He will go in there and look to get the job done with a different game plan, because remember when AJ lost to Ruiz, he came back with a different game plan and he executed it in the ring with Ruiz. That is also what Dillian Whyte will try to do with Alexander Povetkin. Different horses for different courses. You don't necessarily need to fight the same way for each and every fight. AJ hasn't and Dillian Whyte definitely won't. I believe it will be simple things like how he approaches the fight and how he wants to go on the front foot instead of allowing Povetkin to apply the pressure. Those are certain things that Dillian Whyte will implement going into this fight, so he won't allow Alexander Povetkin so much room and so much space to move into. He won't be moving back, he will be moving forwards, and I know that that seems like maybe he will leave himself open to a counter from Alexander Povetkin, but if he is backing him up behind hard, stiff shots and also trying to make each and every punch count, that will be very important in this second fight. So I don't think that he will approach it and try and box his way. I think that he will look to hurt Povetkin and break him down. I don't see this fight going the distance at all. It will not go 12 rounds. Povetkin will get Whyte or Whyte will get him. I don't see it going past even 10 rounds in this fight because as long as Povetkin is in there, he is dangerous, and Dillian Whyte does know that. So I believe he will want to get Povetkin before Povetkin gets him. Of course, he won't just throw caution to the wind and go swinging with his chin in the air. He's not going to do that. He has enough experience to know that he cannot do that with a world level operator, but also, after the first fight, what he also knows is he cannot allow him to press him like that. He cannot allow Povetkin the freedom to do what he wants, to control the pace of the fight. When he is in control of those fundamentals, he is very dangerous, and that is what he learned in the first contest. Also, I believe that Anthony Joshua learned a lot from his loss to Ruiz, and he used that in the second fight. Same thing applies with Dillian Whyte. He can use the things that he has learned from the first one and apply it in the second fight. I know that a loss seems like a huge setback, and considering it happened in August of 2020 and it is now March 2021, he wanted to be fighting in November 2020. So he's had to wait a long time to get back in the ring. And that is the thing with boxing. That is probably why a loss seems so devastating, is because it takes so long to get back in the ring sometimes and even get a rematch with that opponent. It was supposed to be November, then possibly December, January, then moved to March, then moved again to later in March. So this fight has been pushed back a lot, and that is down to the pandemic, of course, and many other factors. I mean, I was skeptical about the November date anyway. I didn't believe that Dillian Whyte should be getting back in there that quickly. I know that he believed he was okay and he wanted to, and that's fair enough. That's the fighting spirit, but I just didn't want to see him get back in there in November. I thought that was too soon. So, in some ways, this could be a blessing in disguise, giving him a little bit more time. But he has been training continuously and got straight back into camp after losing to Povetkin. He went straight back to Portugal to get back at training and preparing. So the preparation will be important, but hopefully he has had some time away from training as well to give himself that rest that he needs after the strain of the long camp that led up to the Povetkin fight, but also the loss that he suffered in that manner as well. where Povetkin really showed that he is not to be underestimated and his age is just a number. He is still able to deliver a result like that over a young hungry lion like Dillian Whyte. I mean, the victory stands for itself. Was it Dillian Whyte in control, then got caught? Not necessarily. I don't believe that to be true. I believe that Povetkin was finding his way into the fight and trying to force mistakes from Dillian Whyte, and that happened and he capitalized. He's that good. So in the rematch, Dillian Whyte must approach it like this is the big fight, and I believe he will. This is the big fight for Dillian Whyte. There's nothing beyond this. No Deontay Wilders, no Ruizes, no Tyson Fury's, Anthony Joshua's. Just Alexander Povetkin. That is the important thing. I really don't know how Alexander Povetkin does it. I mean, what was it? Hughie Fury, Michael Hunter, then Dillian Whyte. Now Dillian Whyte again. He beat Hughie Fury. He drew against Michael Hunter, beat Dillian Whyte. Now he has the rematch. How is this guy doing it? At what, 41, 42? Fighting all of these young guys, but not just fighting them, actually beating some of them. I mean, I know he got the draw against Michael Hunter, but look at how he found his way back into the fight when he was down. And not necessarily down like knocked down, but he was down on the cards early on in that contest and seemed like he grew old in that fight, but found his way back into it. That just shows what kind of fighter Povetkin is. Again, I really don't know how he does it, but he seems to be able to pull out these kind of performances with the top contenders in the heavyweight division. Guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Obviously, Anthony Joshua has made some comments about Dillian Whyte, explaining that he's doing the right thing going back in there with Povetkin, not shying away from this challenge, and he also gave Dillian Whyte some encouragement, saying that he was sad when he lost the fight. He didn't want to see that happen to Dillian Whyte, although he respects Alexander Povetkin. Guys, I will leave a link to the video where Anthony Joshua explains this in the description below. Make sure you go and give it a watch. I do believe it was recorded last year before the second fight was supposed to happen in November, because obviously that was the first date they had agreed on. Then it was moved back. But nonetheless, those comments and that advice still applies going into the rematch with Povetkin. Remember, Anthony Joshua has been there himself, so he knows what it takes. He knows what Dillian Whyte will be going through, but also he understands the mental strength that Dillian Whyte has to get straight back in there and try and right the wrong. But it's not going to be easy because he has a world level operator in there with him, someone who has good form. You have to say it going into this fight, he has good form over young challengers in the heavyweight division. So Dillian Whyte has to meet that on March 27th. Guys, anyway, drop your thoughts on this in the comments below. Also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks guys.